Let's take a look at how the dimensions of a lathe are specified. This is a 7 by 14 inch lathe. The 7 inch refers to the largest diameter workpiece that could be mounted on the spindle and spin without hitting the waves. The waves are this precision ground part of the lathe bed on which the carriage rides. The lathe bed is the casting on which everything is supported. I have here an accessory called a faceplate, and it is just about a little over 6 inches in diameter, and it's designed to be mounted on the spindle, as you can see. And then you could mount various workpieces onto this faceplate. For example, this disc could be mounted by screwing some holes in through, or mounting some screws in through the back side. And this aluminum disc here is about 6.5 inches diameter. You can see there's just a little bit of clearance down below that. So in theory I could mount a 7 inch disc in there, but you can see there wouldn't be much clearance. So that's the 7 inch component. The 14 inch component refers to what is called the distance between centers, which is effectively the distance from the spindle to the tailstock. But technically a lathe center is a ground and pointed holding device such as this, which mounts in the headstock. And I have a similar but smaller one here that mounts in the tailstock. Now there are types of work that you can do on the lathe where you mount the workpiece between these two centers. You drill a pilot hole in the end of each end of the workpiece, and it is actually held between the centers. That's what the term between centers refers to. And this workpiece is 14 inches long, and you can see that it does indeed fit between centers. So that is truly a 7 by 14 inch lathe. Now what you'll find if you take a look at the Harbor Freight 7 by 10 lathe, the distance between centers in fact is only 8 inches. So that's a little bit misleading in their advertising to call it a 7 by 10, so you should be aware of that fact. So it's truly a 7 by 8, which only gives you about that much room. So it's a very short lathe. And if it fits your needs, that's fine. I used one for about 1.5 years and I liked it very well, but I soon got frustrated with the short bed length and moved up to a 7 by 12. A 7 by 14 obviously gives you even more room, and the largest of the mini lathes is sold by Micromark is a 7 by 16. So that gives you some sense of the scale available, but they all are 7 inch swing lathes, so they all have the same diameter to swing a workpiece. Now you might imagine that you could take a chunk of metal 7 inches in diameter and 14 inches long, but if you envision extending this out 14 inches, I think it's pretty obvious that the carriage is in the way. So you can't in fact swing a 7 by 14 inch piece of metal on a 7 by 14 inch lathe. There's another important parameter, which is called the swing over the carriage, or the swing over the cross slide. And the cross slide is this working piece here, and because it is raised up from the ways, it limits the size of a workpiece that can go end to end and pass over top of that. So that dimension is about 4 inches. So you could in principle take a workpiece that's about 14 inches long and 4 inches in diameter and support it between centers or in some other way and turn it end to end. But you would be working very close to the capacity limits of the lathe. So the true capacity in that respect is about 4 by 14, but for relatively short disc-like objects such as this one, you can in fact work with a 7 inch diameter object. Now that has its own set of limitations that I'll talk about at another point in the video, but you can in fact swing a 7 inch diameter object on this lathe.